increases.
In other news, counterfeit goods are destroyed as part of ongoing efforts to protect consumers.
A look at sport later on. We are closely following the match that is taking place between Zimbabwe and Ireland. That is in cricket. We'll give you the latest update later on. But let's start with tonight's top story.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa has called for rapid technological changes in the mining sector to enhance exploration and exploitation of mineral resources towards economic growth.
Well, the president was speaking yesterday at the commissioning of part of the Palm River Energy Project in Beitbridge. Let's get our first report from Sifiso Swanda.
The upscaling of technology uptake in the effective exploitation of high-value minerals in the country has been identified as key to economic growth given its untapped potential. Speaking during the launch of the Palm River Energy Metallurgical Project in Beitbridge this Monday, President Emmerson Mnangagwa called for collaborations between stakeholders in the mining industry, institutions of higher learning and professional institutions to promote sustainable mining practices.
The rapid technological changes that are currently underway are creating new ways of exploring and exploiting mineral and other resources of our motherland, Zimbabwe. Hence, the partnership between Shaanxi Engineering Vocational College and Harare Polytechnic to carry out the college enterprise project will go a long way towards upskilling our young people in this sector. The project will provide scholarships for students to study in China in the fields of metallurgy, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering. Under the program, there is a scope for the establishment of a metallurgical center of excellence with a focus on value addition and beneficiation. I would like to encourage the Zimbabwe School of Mines and other institutions of higher learning to enter into similar partnerships.
The head of state said, in line with the African mining vision, mineral value addition will ensure the country derives maximum benefits from its abundant natural resource endowments.
To this end, the promotion of revenue from exports, job creation, economic diversification, industrial development, reduced dependence on raw commodity prices, technological advancement, and improved local infrastructure development should be scaled up.
Zimbabwe is leveraging her economy on minerals as a strategy to grow and expand its economy. Sifiso Swanda, ZBC News, Makakawule in Beitbridge.
Zimbabwe has made significant improvements in the agricultural sector after an increase in hectareage for staple cereals planted during the 2024 to 2025 summer cropping season.
Agricultural yield for maize and traditional grains are forecasted for a rebound this season as farming hectareage for the crops increased by almost 20,000 hectares, according to a post-cabinet media briefing held in Harare this Tuesday.
The area planted under staple cereals that include maize and traditional grains, that is sorghum, pure millet and finger millet, increased during the 2024-2025 season from the targeted 2.5 million hectares to 2.540385 hectares. The planted area is 8.1% higher than the 2,349,000 hectares achieved in the 2023-2024 season and above the 2024-2025 target.
Zimbabwe's horticultural exports are also heading for exciting times, as notable increases were recorded in production of blueberries, oranges, and coffee.
The total area planted under the horticulture marginally increased from 11,952 hectares in the 2023-2024 season to 11,957 in the 2024-2025 season.
Effective livestock recovery policies and strategies are also paying dividends as the national herd increased, including milk production.
The national beef cattle herd grew by 0.4% from 5,718,000 in 2023 to 5,741,000 in 2024. The national dairy herd increased by 8.7% from 60,398 in 2023 to 65,659 in 2024. This resulted in a 15% increase in terms of raw milk production. The presidential raw poultry scheme gained momentum in 2024 with the distribution of 751,000 4-week-old indigenous chicks to beneficiaries compared to 200,000 in 2023.
Other important highlights from this week's cabinet session include the policy review for audit committees in central government.
Every ministry shall henceforth constitute a board composed of the following members. The minister responsible for the ministry as the chairperson, the deputy minister, 5 non-executive audit committee members, the accounting officer, and the head of finance. The ministry's audit committee shall report to the ministry board.
The audit committees are expected to enhance operational viability and management systems within central government. Theophilus Chuma, ZBC News, Harare.
Elsewhere, Zimbabwe's milk processing companies have increased capacity to serve the domestic market, with dairy products imports dropping by over 7% last year.
Representatives of milk processing firms held a meeting this Tuesday to assess viable opportunities, identify challenges, and provide solutions. Statistics availed during the meeting indicate that dairy product imports declined to 6 million kilograms last year from over 7 million kilograms in 2023. Milk processing companies are upbeat over the future.
Our milk grew by 15% compared to 2023. This growth is translated to more production, higher capacity in our factories, and we have now improved our capacity utilization from an average of 50% to above 60%.
Zimbabwe stands to save more foreign currency through milk self-sufficiency.
The value chain has actually worked very well. I'm looking at government here, the intervention from government. I'm looking at the intervention from the processors themselves, the farmers, and the donor community to make sure that the increase in milk is actually realized. And this is actually translating well in terms of saving the foreign currency for the country.
The dairy value chain is pinning hopes for growth on stable economic conditions.
Milk production has been growing, and I think there is even more scope for even small players to come into the industry. I think the environment currently that's prevailing is conducive and inclusive for other players to come into the dairy value chain. And I think going forward, there is great opportunities as well in terms of import substitution as we grow the volumes that are actually produced by our dairy farmers.
Duty suspension for strategic raw material imports and government's support to farmers are expected to boost milk output. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Empowerment champion First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, who is in Australia on a philanthropic visit, met leaders of charity organizations keen to work with the Angel of Hope Foundation in assisting vulnerable groups back home. Angel of Hope Foundation patron First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, who is in Australia on a philanthropic visit, had an interface with leaders of charity organizations and business people who expressed willingness to work with the philanthropic arm Angel of Hope Foundation in alleviating the plight of the needy. Mnangagwa has demonstrated deep love for the vulnerable groups by spearheading numerous initiatives to transform their lives. In a bid to continue creating a positive impact on the lives of the needy, Dr. Mnangagwa had a meeting with various philanthropists, including Reverend Bill Cruz, the chairman of the Reverend Bill Cruz Foundation, with whom she exchanged ideas. Reverend Cruz also had a glimpse of Mnangagwa's philanthropic work through a documentary which was beamed. After watching the video clip, he paid glowing tribute to Dr. Mnangagwa for her selflessness, describing her as a humble and hands-on person. Mnangagwa also had a meeting with other philanthropists and business people, an event coordinated by Dr. Frank Alafach, the president of the Australia Business Summit Council. During the meeting, Dr. Alafach and his team also had an opportunity to experience some of Dr. Mnangagwa's philanthropic works through a video clip that captured their imaginations. After watching the clip, Dr. Alafach said he believes that Mnangagwa is a worthy recipient of the Nobel Prize for Peace owing to your works, which are exceptional.
Not only on the strength of that presentation displayed to everybody here today, but on the strength of my research that I've been doing into Her Excellency and the work that she does. As you all know, I'm an academic, so research is one of my strong points, and I believe that Her Excellency will be a very, very worthy recipient of the Nobel Prize for Peace. Oh, that's the first of all. Because too often we hear talk of war and hate and oppression, but little do we hear of peace and goodwill and love and compassion. And I think that Her Excellency is the embodiment of that.
Dr. Mnangagwa thanked the team for the warm welcome before delving into some of her philanthropic works in the health sector.
I'm happy to say that the organizations that I have met so far are so willing, and some of them are already trying to get this and that, so that when I leave, at least 1, 2, 3 containers follow me. I say to myself, I have to go out and work. And I'm engaging them. I'm with them every day. I'm in hospitals. I'm in families. I'm in GBV, gender-based violence. The GBV, the gender-based violence, is saying that these parents have no time now to look at what children are doing. Remember, we now have these drug addicts and drug and substance abuse. Once children see that this is what is happening, the father and mother are fighting, then they look for their own way and they go away, they start that. And that family now, you see, it has no future.
Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa has demonstrated unmatched compassion for the needy across the country. In her capacity as the country's health and childcare ambassador, she is always traveling across the country with medical personnel to ensure that people are screened and treated for various ailments free of charge in a bid to curb unnecessary loss of lives. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News.
Also, the Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill, which makes it mandatory for motorists to first buy a radio license before acquiring insurance cover, has gone through the second reading in the National Assembly.
This Tuesday saw the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jenfan Muswere, reading the Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill for the second time in the National Assembly, with the Minister outlining to legislators the importance of the bill.
The objective of the Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill of 2024 is principally to align the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 12.06, with the Constitution of Zimbabwe and also with the Public Entities and Corporate Governance Act, Chapter 10.31. The Act was last amended in 2007, and certain sections of the Act have become inconsistent with the new constitution, something which has necessitated the current alignment process. Technology has also evolved rapidly over the years, pointing to the need for the broadcasting laws to be aligned with other pieces of legislation. Madam Speaker, the Broadcasting Services Amendment Bill contains 23 clauses.
Dr. Mswere also delved into the provisions of the bill, which are expected to enhance revenue generation for the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation, ZBC.
Speaker, Clause 14 amends Section 38A by broadening the definition of dealer in an effort to enhance compliance and also to boost revenue collection for ZBC. Madam Speaker, Clause 15 amends Section 38B by inserting a new provision which provides that the Zimbabwe National Roads Administration, ZINARA, and every motor insurance company shall only issue a motor vehicle license and motor insurance policy, respectively, to individuals who either hold a current radio license issued by the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation or a valid exemption certificate from ZBC, unless the vehicle to be insured is not equipped with a radio receiver, provided the license applicant shall sign a declaration as specified in the 8th schedule.
The landmark legislation seeks to align the Broadcasting Services Act with the Constitution and the Public Entities Corporate Governance Act, with the enactment of the law expected to revolutionize Zimbabwe's broadcasting landscape and ensure the national broadcaster produces quality programming. The debate has been adjourned to this Wednesday. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Mount Hampton.
Stakeholders are optimistic that the prestigious wetland city status accorded to the city of Victoria Falls will further boost conservation efforts and sustainable tourism in the area.
The city of Victoria Falls was early this year accredited a wetland city status in recognition of Zimbabwe's outstanding conservation efforts. The Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, which is the accrediting body, outlined some of the benefits that come with the status.
The benefits of having to be accredited as a wetland city is really a demonstration of how you're taking care of the wetlands in the city, but also for the local government, for the mayor of the town to now, bring this bridging with the communities, businesses and public sector to say the reason we're saving the natural environment and also the wetlands in particular is because they matter for people. So it's a really great opportunity for Vic Falls to be able to share with the world their experience, but also for local citizens in this city to know why the wetlands matter.
Victoria Falls authorities and tourism players predict a surge in visitors in the city.
Certainly, this recognition will put Victoria Falls on the global map, and that on its own also attract investors, those who are into environmental sustainability. They will be seen coming to Victoria Falls and invest in those areas. And besides, tourists will come to an area where environment is so much respected. And these wetlands, as we all know, they also attract animals.
This new status adds to Victoria Falls' appeal as a bucket list destination, as it attracts tourists who want to experience its unique wetlands firsthand. Moreover, with the environmental laws that are in place, it will attract more tourists who are concerned with the good environmental backgrounds, as Victoria Falls is committed to conservation and sustainability.
The 15th conference of the contracting parties, COP15 of the Ramsar Convention, will be held in Victoria Falls in July this year. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Now, the Presidential War Veterans Fund and other projects meant to uplift livelihoods have now been taken to Harare province amid calls for unity among party members. Let's get more from Bruce Jawanda.
The Presidential War Veterans Fund Harare Provincial launch attracted more than 500 freedom fighters who benefited from the fund to start income-generating projects. The fund has been expanded to housing, borehole singing and solar installation projects to transform people's livelihoods.
Pachange paine launch ye maboho, pachange paine launch ye War Veterans Housing Scheme. Zvese zvakanangana nokuona kuti pange paine hwaro, a concrete basis yekuona kuti vari vendu vari sununguko vagare zvakanaka.
Chii chingatipatsanura kubva pana vaMunangagwa, ivo vari kutungamira kuti zvamakarwira isu vana veZimbabwe tisimbe tiine nyika yedu, kuti zvamakarwira kunyangwe zvinganzi zvanonoka apo neapo, asi chikuru ndechekuti president wedu vachishanda neleadership yeMawo Veterans vari kugadzira nhaka yevazukuru vevazukuru vedu.
Presidential Investment Advisor Dr. Paul Tungwarara said the fund is a revolving one, which is expected to grow to $1 million United States dollars by June to benefit more people.
Chirongwa ichi chakanakira zvakare kuti kuma province kwese kuchange chichicreate employment, zvichibatanidza zvakare nemayouth edu. Pane zvimwe zvirongwa zvichaparurwa zvakare manje nemukuru wenyika, nekuti mukuru wenyika akati leaving no one behind. Saka tinotarisira kuti pachirongwa ichi chemapresidential funds sekutaura kwatiri kuita nemukuru wenyika, tiri kuona kuti chichasvika kwese, chichabata mapato ese emusangano kuti gopinda muvision yavo yekuti leaving no one behind.
SANPF Secretary for War Veterans League, Comrade Douglas Maia, said people must continue to respect the party leadership if the country is to attain an upper middle income society status by 2030.
Hakusi kugona, hachisi chiwa veteran, kuti kana wamira pa platform, unokwanisa kunongerera, kutukirira, utungamiriri wemusangano. Kutukirira utungamiri wemusangano, kunyangwe district chairman wemusangano musarega achitukirirwa, because mu constitution mukutaura kuti league iduty renyu to protect the interests of the party and its leadership. Saka zvatiri kutoita izvi se league, we are being very constitutional. That is what the constitution is about.
War veterans who attended the launch also walked away with food hampers. Prusisha Wanda, SADC News, Harare.
Southern African Development Community SADC senior officials responsible for transport have adopted a number of resolutions targeted at enhancing the aviation sector in line with the SADC Safety Aviation Organization.
Decision 3 is adopted with the contributions that we've made.
Critical discussions setting the tone for the roundtable meeting of SADC cluster ministers responsible for transport, ICT, information and meteorology, senior officials from within the regional bloc, convened for the second day in Harare this Tuesday, focusing on one of the critical agendas for the transport sector. The officials agreed on a number of frameworks and policies that they will submit to the responsible ministers for approval.
Decision 4 is approved. Decision 5 approved.
The meeting of the senior officials is a precursor to the roundtable meeting of ministers responsible for transport, ICT, information and meteorology set for this Friday. According to a statement by SADC executive, the agenda of the meeting will focus on reviewing policy and regulatory frameworks and implementation status of programs within the transport, ICT, information and meteorology sectors. The ministers will review the implementation of decisions and progress achieved since the last sectorial meeting held in June 2023, as well as the implementation of the decisions from the SADC Summit of Heads of State and the SADC Council of Ministers. Theophilus Chuma, SABC News, Harare.
The Holy Cross Conference Center and Tourism Resort project in Chirumanzu is progressing well amid indications the first phase of the project will be completed by the end of April this year.
Good times are rolling for the Chirumanzu community
which is witnessing the birth of a new tourism resort under construction at the offshore of Holy Cross Dam. The center boasts of a conference center, a bar and 10 modern chalets, earmarked for the initial phase among other critical features.
Chalet number 1, number 2, number 3, yapera, yamirira aluminium. 4, 5, and 6, zamirira futi aluminium.
The community has begun to enjoy benefits from the project, with tertiary students also gaining skills and experience.
Asi pakatanga project inoi iyeni pachangu inini chekutanga mhuri chaichaiko pfuma chaikutobvisa takatotanga kubvisa tatanga kutowana mari pano chinonzi mbudzi ndakatotanga kutenga chinhu chinonzi mbudzi ndatowana basa pano asi ndatochembera ndisina.
Isi sama single mothers tadzidza kuvaka tadzidza kuzvimiririra.
Government has adopted deliberate efforts to grow the tourism industry across the country.
Tafunga kuti vanhu vari muno Midlands nevamwe vari kunze kweMidlands vakafunga kuti musangano yavo tiri kuvaka conference center ichange ichikwana vanhu 1000 kupinda imomo. Kana uya achita gunganise zvataita ipo pano vanoda kudya kana vari uri musangano webusiness kana musangano wezvimwe zvakadaro wehurumende kana wezvikoro kana wemachechi kana vakadya vakuda kurara. Saka tiri kuvaka pamusoro pe conference center inokwana vanhu 1000. Tiri kuvaka malodges ekuti vanenge vazoshanya ipapo vachita musangano yavo vogara pamalodge.
Zimbabwe's tourism sector is poised for a massive growth after stakeholders came up with a number of packages which saw the industry contributing 12% of the national gross domestic product last year. Tafaraj Kumira, ZBC News, Chirumanzu.
You're watching the main news. Remember to visit our website for these and more stories. Our website is www.zbcnews.co.zw.
Yep, and we're also available on social media platforms. You can go there. That's on Twitter, X now, formerly Twitter, and Instagram, YouTube. Yep, ZBC News Online. You can find all these stories that we're covering there.
And here are stories still to come ahead in the bulletin. Counterfeit goods are destroyed as part of ongoing efforts to protect consumers.
Of course, we will be taking a look at your sport, bringing you updates of what is taking place currently, the match between Zimbabwe and Ireland, that is in your cricket, but also in other news, the Mighty Warriors bracing up for that second leg encounter against Angola for the 2026 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. Be sure to join us for that and a whole lot more when we come back.
Stroke of genius! Introduce the stroke of genius. Oh! Zimbabwe yakuzosumuka manje. Stroke of genius and rukureva chera. President ED Mnangagwa vari kupa bankable, registrable and transferable title deeds na every farmer akapuwa munda pa land reform program. Takanga takapuwa minda asi takanga tisina simba rekupinda mumabhengi semama business kuti tipewo maloni akachipa tatakuwara nezvimbazo man. Zvino ne stroke of genius yekupuwa matitle deeds tikupinduka mubhengi sevamwe tutupuwa maloni takutodevelopa mafama.
Saka kuduza kuti land ese yatone value.
Ende ukapuwa title deed iroro chera. Mundu wako uchatoreki atova nhaka yevazukuru nevazukuru. Ndo zvinoda fama manje izvozvo. Security of tenure.
Iwe pandiri panapa ndakutokwanisa kutopa vana nhaka kuti chidimu chako ichi chemunda chidimu chako ichi.
Exactly.
Zvichifambiswa sei?
President ED Mnangagwa igenius manje. Vakabva vati kuti zvinyatsofamba negwara rakatwasanuka zviri transparent. Ndobva vagadza inonzi Land Tenure Implementation Committee iri kushanda nemumapazi ehurumende.
Alright. But you unozviziva iwo kuti kune land barons akazara ukanopamba minda dzevanhu.
Dai vatoregera zvavo. Ndiwo kopo usiri kudiwa na President Mnangagwa iroro. Ndio saka Land Tenure Implementation Committee yakati ngatishandisei ma-ID numbers, number dzepachitupa kuti munhu haakwanisi kuva nemafamu maviri. Plus land tenure iyi committee haisi kupa minda patsvayo. tiri kutwasanudza pakupiwa kwema-title deeds.
Alright. Iwe saka zvichireva kuti taatoprotected kasevarimi.
Exactly much.
Aiwa, right, ivagona. Aiwa, president.
Ukaziva kuti une stroke of genius here. President idi apa vasikira vana veZimbabwe upfumi.
Ibva ndoya ungochiti stroke
Yes guys, nasi ndafunga kuenda kumusha ndimbospenda time nefamily rangu. Ndava ndapinda muchicken buzz. Munoiziva here chicken buzz? Chicken buzz.
Kama John wakauya zvewe kwai wakabva John angonese Jojedi
vave vasina grosari
ndijoro kumashoti haitsobvesa hapana chaidzoka nacho nenungo dziri pape ungazinze ngoro negrosari pape
anga vangozara manene
hakuna chiripo kudzoka.
Ndava ndaona mubhazi anotaurisa munhu uyu
indonzi
Lee
urubva upe
Australia.
Alright. Kana tikasimuswa kuna na kutengesa unozotsvaga nezvanhu tu.
Sei.
Yatatohama kudai sa.
Okay, bro.
Achenda.
Alright. Ndobasa.
Ungaipedzi cats.
Tats. Oh, tats. Guys, ndaona munhu achitengesa chibage. And I haven't had chibage in maybe 10 years. Ndikati, imari chibage. $40. Munotora iko ke? Alright.
0773 426 300.
Alright. Yaita here.
Yaita, thank you.
Guys, chiri kunuwirira. Ndazosvika kumusha manje.
Joy after joy.
Welcome back. Government has begun implementation of the Presidential Rural Household Solarization Program approved by Cabinet last year. Let's get the details.
The Rural Infrastructure Development Agency, RIDA, is overseeing the program, which will involve multiple government agencies, with information now being disseminated to local authorities, traditional leaders and key stakeholders on implementation modalities.
Zvichatibatsira zvakanyanya nekuti kumamusha kwedu kumwe kwakanyanya kuva kwakasara kwanga kusingasvike kunyangwe negrid remagetsi ezesa. Ikoko ndokwatinoda kutanga kunyanya kubata vanhu vanga vachigara murima mukatarisa vanhu vanga vachirumwa kunyangwe nenyoka nguva ino yekunaya kwemvura nekuti vari kufamba murima munhu anobuda panze paine rima asi masola aya achatibatsira kuti musha uchange wakachena. Zvakare zvichatibatsira zvakanyanya nekuti dzimwe nguva meseji dzinonoka kusvika kumaruwa nekuda kwekushayiwa power chaiyo. Mafoni edu aya aigona kuita kana mazuva maviri asina moto uchitadza kuendesa mashoko akakosha kumusha.
Under the program, beneficiaries will have their homes installed with a comprehensive 1 kVA solar kit comprising a 420 watts solar panel, lithium battery, inverter, hybrid power bank and submersible pump.
Allow me to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Edim Nangamwa, for championing the Presidential Rural Household Solarization Program, which aims to transform and improve the livelihoods of our people.
200,000 solar kits will be installed at the selected households each year starting from 2025 to 2030, with the youth, war veterans and traditional leaders being targeted as key beneficiaries. Tapiwa Machebenze, ZBC News, Bindura.
Now, the call for an upward review of pensions, benefits and payment of non-monetary benefits dominated proceedings during State Pensions Bill public consultations in Plumtree today.
In a move expected to strengthen a social safety nets for those who were in active service, the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare this Tuesday descended on Plumtree Town in Matabeleland South Province to gather views of the public on the State Pensions Bill. Participants highlighted the need to increase pension benefits as well as consideration for non-monetary benefits.
Impension yethu ngaqanisa sibile engxenye ngaba yi150 or 250. Lapho abesizamila ngasinika ama250. Hayi singathaba kakhulu.
Bili heli toliwamchila kwazo. Takalingilila kuti hulumende wetu watikumbula. Ma economist anokuleva kuti kuna poverty datum line. So ngababone kuti mari heyo ibe poverty datum line.
I would like to propose a situation where pension which we contribute during our working life, we are given part of it just three-quarter way during our working life, so that we are able to do a project while we still have got energy. And again, we are able to monitor it while we are still working.
The Portfolio Committee Chairperson, Honorable Taurai Dexter Malinganiso, said the consultations are meant to get public input as government seeks to fine-tune the State Service Pensions Fund to ensure timely payments.
We are here in Plumtree today, having been in Lupani yesterday, to solicit the views of our populace on the State Service Pensions Bill. So ours here is to hear or to solicit the views of the populace to inform the lawmaking process.
The Second Republic continues to craft and review various policies with a view to improving livelihoods as the country journeys towards an upper middle income society by 2030.
A 93-year-old farmer from Diro area in Zhishavane is riding on a wave of success after embracing the climate change resilient agricultural concept Pfumvudza in Twasa program.
A 93-year-old farmer Gogo Salafina Mavesere from Diro village in Mapanzore has refused to be left behind in the agricultural revolution sweeping across the country since the coming of the Second Republic led by President Emerson Mnangagwa. The elderly farmer has mastered the Pfumvudza Intwaza concept and is expecting a bumper harvest of between 6 and 8 tons per hectare from her 5 plots.
Ndikatanga kucheresa makomba angu na vanhu. Ndacheresa makomba angu musi wa 15 November. Ndichibva ndatora mufudze ndichidira ndikausanganisa aizvo ndaiva ndozviitira ndega mbichana ndichisanganisa. Musi wa 16 November ndichibva ndaisa chibagwe changu pasi. Vamudhomeni vedu vanoti yevuchidza chaizvo nechirongwa ichechi. Saka imi ndakavona chichindibatsira. Handichina baba, handichina nendangova nezvisukuru.
Zhishavane Ward 3 Agri-Tax Officer Elena Makusha underscored the importance of harnessing resilient building in the wake of climate change.
Zvatirikuona panapa tirikuona kuti tinei nezera food security inokwanisa kuattaineka, it can be attained regardless of age yemunhu. Nokuti gogo munhu ati kurei asi nekuda kwepfumvudza zviri kuvabatsira.
There is increased enthusiasm amongst farmers across the province thanks to the Pfumvudza Intwasa program which was introduced by government a couple of years back. Karejushe, ZBC News, Zhishavane.
Incredible. Now, government is prioritizing rural development by ensuring access to electricity, with Gutu villages being the latest to benefit following the commissioning of electricity transformers in the area.
Mr. Cuthbert Marimi is one of small business owners at Jaravaza Shopping Center in Gutu, and he is looking forward to improved business following the installation of a new electricity transformer in their area. Apart from Jaravaza Shopping Center, 5 other transformers were installed at various centers and are expected to feed into critical institutions, including rural healthcare centers and schools, with the project being spearheaded by area legislator Honorable Winston Chitando.
Namo yokutikisa dolo mavillage anga kamira nyunya magetsi nechigaya changu cha magetsi achakamira nokuda kwa magetsi pali zvino ndasimukavo.
Gutu Central villagers gathered at various centers across their constituency at the weekend to celebrate development implemented by the Second Republic.
Tatisina clinic yedu yanga iri kwa Mutero
more than 5 kilometers dzachifamba vanhu saka takazopegerwa kliniki pano pagusha.
Takakumbira zvatakaona sekuti ndo zvingabatsira madzimai kuti vauye kuzogarira pachipatara nenguva. Takakumbira kuti ngavatiwanirawo mibhedha pekurara pemadzimai pakanaka nemachira acho tikadairwa saizvozvo.
Muno muwadhi medu tine zvibhorani zvinosvika zodarika kuma 25 and above.
Area Legislator Honorable Winston Chitando, who is also the Minister of Mines and Mining Development, said rural industrialization is key in achieving Vision 2030.
Rural industrialization, one of the key enablers is electricity. And as such, His Excellency is a two-pronged approach which he has directed. Firstly, is for those places which have distribution channels like here, is to facilitate the transformers so that the people get electricity. Then secondly, the solar project which he will be launching shortly.
Gutu Central constituency is also a beneficiary of various development programs by government in the health sector, agriculture, roads rehabilitation and education infrastructure, among others. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Gutu.
The Nyagatsapa Community Garden, a village business unit in Mutasa South, is expected to generate thousands of dollars from potato production and fish farming, empowering rural communities. In our next report, the Zimbabwe National Army has reiterated its commitment to fostering an environment that stimulates economic development through maintaining peace and unity in the country.
The prevailing peace has been hailed as critical in lowering economic investments in the country, with the Zimbabwe National Army ZNA committing towards the cause. Chief Witnessing Officer during the leadership handover takeover ceremony at the Mechanized Brigade headquarters at Inkomo Barracks this Tuesday, Zimbabwe National Army Commander Lieutenant General Anselm Sanyatwe rallied the uniformed forces to remain vigilant in maintaining peace and security in the country.
The people of Zimbabwe have high hopes and expectations for a better future, and as Zimbabwe National Army, we must ensure that the conducive and peaceful environment prevails so that all government developmental programs are carried out without any hindrance. We should all therefore understand the government's vision for development in its entirety in order to contribute meaningfully in improving the lives and the security of our people.
The incoming and outgoing commanders of the Mechanized Brigade emphasized the need for discipline within the National Army.
You need to appreciate the benefits that emanate from operating in a tranquil and orderly environment. We should all support the new dispensations efforts in opening Zimbabwe for investment with a view to grow the country into an upper middle income economy by 2030.
As we interacted with our communities, we strive to leave no one and no place behind, as evidenced by our community projects around the province. We endeavored to reach the most remote areas, leaving footprints of goodwill in those communities.
Meanwhile, Lieutenant General Sanyatwe also urged the uniformed forces to lead by example in shunning drug and substance abuse. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Nyabira.
Elsewhere, huge quantities of counterfeit, substandard and underweight goods confiscated by the Anti-Smuggling Task Force have been destroyed at Geopomona Waste Management Site in Harare today.
The destruction of the goods is part of ongoing efforts to protect consumers from the dangers posed by illegal products that fail to meet required standards.
Witnessing the destruction of the confiscated goods, Consumer Protection Commission Director Mr. Kudakwashe Mdereri expressed concern over the growing number of counterfeit and underweight products infiltrating the informal markets in Harare.
This operation was there to ensure that we nip this practice in the bud, because we want to protect our consumers. We've entered into a partnership with the Geopomona so that all the products that don't meet the required standards, so that our consumers are not exposed to the health risks which are associated with consumption of substandard products, counterfeit products, they are destroyed. So Pomona have agreed to assist us for free. We are very thankful for that.
Harare Metropolitan Province's Anti-Smuggling Task Force Coordinator Mr. Tawedzera Muwani emphasized the importance of transparency and accountability in the handling of confiscated goods.
We want to show evidence and transparency that things that we seize, which are non-human consumable, which are illegal, which are short weight, which are short mass, we destroy, we don't take them home. And hence, this exercise is a demonstration of things to come.
The Anti-Smuggling Task Force, which includes officials from the Ministry of Health and Child Care and the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, has partnered with the Geopomona Waste Management Company for the disposal of confiscated goods which are not fit for human consumption and use. The destroyed items included expired baked beans and boxes of mosquito coils. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The Pan-African Parliament PAP is advocating for the establishment of a model law on climate change and the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program strategy.
The Joint Committees on Agriculture, Gender, Justice and Finance, along with experts, analyzed the model law on climate change and agro-food system policies in line with Africa's development trajectory. At the core of discussions were presentations on the development of a model law on climate change and the CAADP strategy 2026 to 2035, emphasizing the need for resilient agri-food systems. Experts highlighted how shifting geopolitical dynamics marked by the US withdrawing aid demand stronger internal capacities.
Synergies and coordinated approaches at the international negotiation stage of the common regional interests is also brought about by a collective action of parliamentarians, enactment of resolutions that mandate and anchor climate action, like in the case of EU, it is very definite. Our heads of states and government envisioned a sustainable and resilient agri-food system for feeding a healthy and prosperous Africa. They adopted an agri-food system approach, essentially that talks to a broader understanding, a more holistic, approach that goes beyond agriculture as a sector, that embraces the various elements from production all the way to the distribution.
Lawmakers stressed the urgency of integrated policies to shield Africa from unjust global practices.
In Zimbabwe, we are taking various steps to address climate change. We have developed a national climate policy that outlines strategies for climate change adaptation and mitigation, as well as promoting sustainable development.
If it is a collective bargaining, one bargaining for the whole of Africa, and you will have to deal with that collective bargaining, or you will not deal with any African country in terms of minerals. I think if we take that position, we will be able to leverage on them and we'll be able to benefit from our resources.
We know carbon credits may result in emission reduction at a project level. Why are you not encouraging the parliaments or Pan-African Parliament to take the lead from the other national parliaments who are advocating a policy on carbon credits?
Now is the time for African people to see policies to develop Africa.
Africa, the hardest hit by climate change, faces the daunting task of claiming climate justice with an unpaid debt estimated at $100 trillion hindering access. To amplify the call, the AU's theme for the year focuses on justice for Africa and people of African descent through reparations. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Midrand.
Well, investment in the fertilizer production value chain became the topical point when the Minister of Industry and Commerce appeared before the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Industry and Commerce at the new Parliament building.
With the country's fertilizer industry operating below capacity due to various macroeconomic factors, Zimbabwe has become a perennial importer of fertilizer. Appearing before the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Industry and Commerce, officials from the Ministry of Industry and Commerce attributed the reliance on imports to a number of challenges.
I think the key issue as far as the fertilizer companies are concerned is the time years payment. It does affect the cash flows. And then also the issue of electricity as well as the foreign currency availability for them to bring in raw material. What is key from the value chain of the fertilizer, we know that Sebo Chemicals is the key company that is to produce ammonium nitrate in a timeless manner. We have actually been advising them that it is not good for us to be importing when we actually have the resources locally.
We have 200 years of resource of phosphate in the road. What it takes is a dozer, an excavator, and a tipper, and perhaps a conveyor belt into the plant. An unlimited or uninterrupted quality supply of electricity in the plant. We had a 5-year roadmap, and that 5-year has been derailed because of poor funding.
Chairperson of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Industry and Commerce, Honorable Clement Chidua, underscored the need to accelerate investment in the fertilizer value chain.
If you look at NDS1, there is the issue of value chains and the localization of production. And we have said, out of the value chains that have been identified, I think there is need for us to make sure that those value chains, we come up with the specific targets and timelines. And of noteworth is the one for fertilizer. And where we said as a committee, we have got Doroa. And why is it that as a country we continue to import fertilizer when we have got Doroa? So that's one value chain that has taken our interest as a committee, and we are going to follow through on that.
The Ministry of Industry and Commerce also implored on businesses to prioritize the procurement of locally produced products to promote self-reliance and industrial growth in line with Vision 2030. Festus Mgongurutse, SABC News, Harare.
Let's now take to a break and we'll be back shortly with the arts.
This Valentine's Day, gift your loved one an experience beyond words. Imagine strolling down the serene Binga Beach with your soulmate, listening to the waves of the lake hitting the shore, or exploring a charming hidden village, witnessing its beauty, experiencing traditional gastronomy, or simply savoring delicious meals in the heart of a bustling city, creating memories every step of the way. Nestled within the rugged heart of nature's splendor, your picnic unfurled upon a rocky outcrop, cradled between the sky and the earth, witnessing breathtaking sunsets together. This Valentine, travel with your special someone, discover new places, make memories, and fall in love all over again. Plan your romantic getaway now and let your heart lead the way. Travel and experience Zimbabwe this Valentine.
Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe. Everybody gets it.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
To the back of the net!
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
This is the time to take risks.
Incredible!
I've heard good things about you. Don't let me down.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
The University of Zimbabwe opened applications for August 2025 undergraduate enrollment from the 10th of February to the 15th of March 2025. The institution is offering a broad and comprehensive range of undergraduate programs that are designed towards equipping graduates with the critical skills necessary for the development of the nation. These exciting programs are offered from the 11 faculties of the university, which represent the key sectors of the economy. These are faculties of Agriculture, Environment and Food Systems, Arts and Humanities, Business Management Sciences and Economics, Computer Engineering, Informatics and Communications, Education, Engineering and the Built Environment, Law, Medicine and Health Sciences, Science, Social and Behavioral Sciences, Veterinary Science. In addition, the University of Zimbabwe will be moving across the country to offer advisory services and facilitate application processes for the convenience of the public. Prospective students can visit any of the following centers to access these services. Details of application requirements and procedure are accessed on the UZ website www.uz.ac.zw and the Sunday Mail of the 9th of February 2025. Kuziva kugona nekuita. The University of Zimbabwe, educating to change lives.
Welcome back. We now take a look at the arts. Grass-woven baskets are still a popular interior, which is one of the reasons why a number of men in Mutirikwi area of Chiredzi have also ventured into the trade. Let's get more.
With basketry predominantly a domain for women, Mr. Brighton Chada of Mutirikwi area in Chiredzi has a thriving art and craft business whose products include basket chairs made from woven grass, tree barks and bamboo reeds. Each chair takes at least 7 days to make, with bigger chairs with more complicated designs taking as long as a month. Basketry has become a lucrative source of income for Mr. Chada, who has been able to fend for his family through weaving.
Close to 20 years, ndichitairi basa. Ndora ndakaendesa naro vana kuchikoro. Mudzimai ndakatorora naye mari yeipapa. Saka ndoya ndikutongoshandisa kuzvitarisira onde.
This news crew also caught up with Mr. Farai Magaya in Mzembe village in Triangle, who specializes in traditional basket weaving using dry grass and reeds.
Kwakuri kuti taikwanise kuonerwa nzvimbo yekuti tingaitire basa redu art craft tichinge tiri pamwe chete takawanda petinokwane kuonese market yakawanda, especially munguva dzetakupinda dzematourists. Dai taikwanise kunga kanzo redu ichitiitirawo kuti tiwanere nzvimbo yetinokwanisa kuti tinge tichishanda tiri pamwe chete tiine zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana zvetinenge tichigadzira. Nofunga zvaizotibatsira zvikuru kwazvo.
The cultural and creative industries where basketry falls under have become essential for inclusive economic growth, reducing inequalities and achieving the goals set out in the National Arts and Culture Policy, the National Culture and Creative Industries Strategy, as well as Vision 2030. Geima Tambo, ZBC News, Chiredzi.
Right, and that is our look at the arts. When we come back, we'll be looking at sport.
Want to elevate your entertainment? Then add Showmax to your DSTV subscription at a discount. Showmax is not a TV channel. It's an on-demand video streaming service on showmax.com. To add Showmax to your DSTV subscription, simply use the My DSTV app. Select Add Showmax. The app screen will display the discount you qualify for. Now you can enjoy exclusive shows and movies you won't find anywhere else. Add Showmax to elevate your entertainment.
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news. Let's take a look now at your sport and the latest update coming from the ongoing match between Zimbabwe and Ireland that is in that T20 encounter. Ireland having chosen to bowl first, and currently Zimbabwe at 142 for the loss of 6 wickets. Top scoring Skandaraza with 34 runs. Ireland are still to bat, so we'll give you the latest update as the match proceeds and continues. On another front, International Olympic Committee aspiring president, who's also the Minister of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Kirsty Coventry, is looking at creating a more sustainable way to empower athletes and make a living out of their brands. Now, she had an online question and answer session with global media that having been organized by the International Olympic Committee. Let's find out more.
The Zimbabwean candidate for the International Olympic Committee presidential elections, Kirsty Coventry, has outlined their vision in an online question and answer session with more than 300 sports journalists across the world. The two-time Olympic champion shared their vision and answered questions from a select group of journalists from around the world, touching on key issues such as gender equality, doping, geopolitical conflicts, and IOC governance. If elected, she would not only become the first woman to lead the IOC, but also the first African in the IOC's 130-year history.
We have reached the gender equality on the field of play, and we saw that for the first time in Paris, which we're very proud of. But we still have a long way to go when we look at international federations, and I'm excited about leading that movement. Women are ready. They're ready to lead. I look at it as an opportunity to push through boundaries.
Coventry, who holds the record for representing her country at 5 Olympic Games from Sydney 2000 to Rio 2016, is now looking to make her mark beyond the pool, this time from the high seat in the Olympic movement. She believes athletes must be supported throughout their journey rather than at competitions only.
I would rather put more focus on identifying direct funding to athletes before they get to the Olympic Games, and then after the Olympic Games, once they are looking at retirement, how do we help them in that next phase of life? I also think that there are opportunities with technology today to leverage the Olympic Games as a platform. In the past games in Paris, we saw a number of athletes leverage their social media platforms, and they have created a more sustainable way of being able to become influencers.
Coventry, who is the Minister of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, is currently chairperson of the Athletes Commission at the IOC. She is contesting against World Athletics President and Britain's two-time Olympic champion, Lord Gore, Spaniard Juan Antonio Samarak Jr., France David Lapatiene, Japan's Morinari Wanatabe, Swede Johan Eliassak, and Prince Faisal Hussein of Jordan. Coventry is Africa's most decorated Olympian with 7 medals, including 2 golds across the 2004 Athens Games and the Beijing 2008. She is also currently leading the IOC Commission's overseeing the progress on the 2026 Dakar Youth Olympics and the 2032 Brisbane Games. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News, Harare.
The Mighty Warriors are seeking to overturn a 2-1 deficit when they take on Angola in the reverse encounter of the first round of the 2026 CAF Women Africa Cup of Nations qualifier in South Africa this Wednesday.
Zimbabwe have their backs against the wall as they must overturn the deficit to progress to the second round of the AFCON qualifiers. The Mighty Warriors lost 2-1 in Luanda, and they believe they're ready to wrestle back the momentum after close to a week with the whole team in camp. Despite the hard task at hand, the Mighty Warriors are determined to get a positive result.
We are having positive conversations
with the girls towards our goal on the Wednesday game. Our preparations are going well. We are working on the areas that we lacked on the previous match. And my message to the girls is like, the marathon continues, the race is not yet over. We still have like a 90 minutes plus to win.
Meanwhile, the Mighty Warriors joined the former Warriors captain Peter Ndlovu in celebrating the legend's 52nd birthday in South Africa this Tuesday. Speaking at a breakfast meeting organized by South African-based funeral services company Zorro Pumlani, Ndlovu challenged the new ZIFA leadership to continue supporting the Mighty Warriors.
Tomorrow is a special day for you, and let's forget the birthday. Tomorrow is we have to come and support you. We are down, but we are not out yet. And you can see already the shape and the development taking place, because in a few months to come, when the girls have qualified, we will also like them to stay at a better place, at a good place, at a higher place, so that their love for them, because we must not treat men still differently to the ladies, because we are all football at the end of the day.
The funeral services company has been supporting Zimbabwe national teams for a long time and is currently the official transport partner for the Mighty Warriors and the Warriors for their home games in South Africa. The match slated for Lucas Moriba Stadium kicks off at 3 p.m. and will also be screened live on ZBC TV. Lawrence Trusera, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, the newly appointed ZIFA Referees Committee has come up with new measures that are expected to improve match officiating in the country.
With the Premier Soccer League set to kick off this Friday, the newly appointed ZIFA Referees Committee, led by Faith Mloy, moved in swiftly to put their house in order. The committee hosted a training workshop facilitated by respected former referee and former SRC chairperson Anthony Manduanza, with the ZIFA Vice President Kennedy Ndebele representing the football motherboard. The workshop culminated in key resolutions being passed to try and improve the officiating of matches in the country, following a year that saw officials hogging the spotlight for the wrong reasons. Some of the landmark resolutions include that all financial transactions related to refereeing will be handled exclusively by ZIFA, and no payments will be processed outside the association's structures. As a way of maintaining integrity and to eliminate conflicts of interest, committee members will no longer serve as match officials in any capacity, including as assessors or match commissioners. The new committee has been tasked with the recruitment of new referees between the age of 18 and 25, as well as draft a code of conduct for all referees, which will be binding from lower leagues up to PSL level. Referees manager Joshua Tugere has been tasked to oversee all match officials' affairs on a full-time basis and will be stationed at the ZIFA offices. The new referees committee is led by former official Faith Mloy, who is deputized by Munyaradzi Majoni, while Jacob Kuya, Makonese Masakadza, and Rusina Chiramba are members, with Joshua Tigere coming in as the referees manager. Lawrence Tuseda, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, we know the floodlights are up at Harare Sports Club, where that match is taking place between Zimbabwe and Ireland. And the last we heard there, Zimbabwe won 42-46, Ireland having chosen to bowl after having won the toss. Lawrence Trusida is watching that match for us. Let's see if we can link up with him to just get a feel of what's taking place at Harare Sports Club. Lawrence?
Good evening, Butler, and also good evening to you, Joyce. Yes, welcome to Harare Sports Club, where it is cricket under the lights in the series decider. You can see it's lively here as Zimbabwe have just batted first and put in a handy total 142 runs in their allotted 18 overs. The match had to be reduced to 18 overs aside as 4 overs were taken away by the rains that were here earlier on in the morning. So Zimbabwe just finished to bat. Captain Sikanda Raza with 34, Denton Mnyonga also contributing 26, and the contributions also coming through from Rain Bell and Tashinga Msekua, making sure that Zimbabwe puts in a handy total. Already the Chevrons are leading 1-0 in the 3-match series. This is after the first match was washed out. So Zimbabwe leading 1-0, and they need to kill off this series and take a 2-0 series win here, right here at Harare Sports Club. So we're just hoping that they can be able to make sure defend that total 142 runs. But it seems as if maybe, just maybe, we might be able to have the full allocation of 18 overs as we're starting to have a few showers right here at at Harare Sports Club. But as you can see in the background, the fans have come through in their numbers, making sure that they support the Chevrons who are chasing a rare series victory. So the story here is Island need 143 runs to draw the series, while the Chevrons need to defend 142 runs to kill off the series and go off to Bangladesh on a high note. To give you more details as the bulletins come through, and make sure that you catch Good Morning Zimbabwe. That's where we'll get to give you the full result of the match. But back to you guys in the studio. I hope Butler and Joyce, you can be able to make your way right here to Harare Sports Club and catch the last few overs after the news bulletin.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure we'll be finding our way there. In fact, the win probability, according to the latest stats here, currently standing at 55% in favor of Zimbabwe. So I think we might have something to celebrate after all at the end of the night.
Yes, indeed. And with that, we close off the main news for this evening. From all of us here, it's good night.
Hi there, the name is Jamo, Zain Jamo. Most of you guys are used to seeing this face on the national broadcaster, that is at ZBC TV main news. But guess where I'm at today? Today I am at the University